The second Aditya is Aryama. So this is the Aditya that rules the 30 degrees following the vernal equinox. Okay? So Arya means companion or close friend, like a bosom friend. And it has the meanings of to be dear to somebody, to be kind to someone, to be favorable to someone, and to be devoted to someone. Okay? Aryama can be a life friend, a life companion, a life partner, a marital partner. It's anything where there's a quality of long-term companionship involved. Okay? In the first Aditya, Dhata, we had the bearer. So he bears the burden. Eventually that burden develops its own abilities. It develops its intelligence, its capabilities, its self-reliance. And at that point, it's ready for the next Aditya, the next type of love, which is the love of companionship and a love to accompany another being along the journey or path of life. Okay? So here we have, in the Dhata Aditya, we had a relationship between somebody strong and somebody helpless. And the strong helps and supports the weak. In Aryama, we have a self-reliant, capable person who could manage themselves, and another self-reliant, capable person who can manage themselves, and they become companions to each other. Okay? Because they can provide and support to each other in their self-reliance. And this is a long-term possibility. You can continue this forever because nobody's carrying all the load. You know, if you eventually are carrying more weight than you can carry, you only can do that so long, right? But at this Aditya, you can continue what you carry with the other person indefinitely. Why? Because they're also accompanying you, they're also being favorable to you, they're being kind to you, they're being supportive to you. So it's a two-way street of companionship, and two-way street of care, a two-way street of support, and a two-way street of kindness. And in fact, Aryama is invoked during marriage oaths. So he's the one that gives the marriage the qualities to help it be sustained over the long haul. Okay? There's a thing here from the Rig Veda from 1085:43. It says, "May Prajapati grant us progeny." So Prajapati is a name of Brahma, give us children. "May Aryama unite us together until old age. Free from all evil omens, enter your husband's abode, be the bringer of prosperity to our bipeds and quadrupeds." So basically the key thing is, may Arya unite us together until old age. So this shows the long-term connotations of Aryama. It's a long-term companion. It's not a fling. It's something for the long haul. And what that does, that creates a bond of togetherness. Okay? Now, and that's the very beginning of the formation of a functional tribe, where we have two people coming together for purposes of mutual support. Okay? And so people who have this Aditya strong, they make good companions. They're able to be there for other people. Okay? And if other people are able to be there for them, they will indefinitely be able to be there for other people. The only reason they won't be able to be there for other people, if those other people are never there from them and just taking. At that point, the taking person is trying to force the Aryama into a Dhata person. And remember, Dhata is great, the love of bearing is critical, but it's short term. We only can do that so long. And an Aryama person will do the short, will be able to behave with the qualities of Dhata, because that comes before. It has that ability within it. It can bear the burden of somebody for short term, but it can't do it indefinitely. Aryama's goal is to do it indefinitely, to do it long term. Okay, so in Aryama, if an association doesn't have a two-way street connotation, eventually it's going to have to end. Because nothing that's not a two-way street is going to be capable of being kept forever. You know, it's going to be able to be long-term between two people. On an individual level, something that's just between you and yourself, yes, that can not be a two-way street, obviously, right? Doesn't need to be, and it can last forever. You can have things going on with yourself that last forever. That's what Indra is about. It's also a forever, long-term Aditya that's focused on long-term things, as is Aryama. But when it comes to being a companion, associating with others, the only way something can be long-term if it's a two-way street. And this is not to say that the love of Aryama is lacking. That's part of the love of companionship. I am your companionship in the spirit of love because you're able to, because it is a two-way street, because you're able to function as a healthy adult, because you're a growing, developing person, I can continue this long-term relationship. If it comes to a long-term thing where a person continues to be helpless, doesn't grow, continues to use others, doesn't want to grow, then it's actually not love to support them in that. So there's a point where when somebody's capable of being responsible and useful but chooses not to, there's a point we have to leave them to the mercies of the world until they decide to develop those qualities. Otherwise, we're actually hurting them. We're making them be less self-reliant in that support. We're weakening their ability to be somebody they can feel good about. Contributing is the key quality of this Aditya. It's contributing. In fact, it's one of the greatest contributors there is, as you'll see as we continue to discuss it. So, contributing makes a person have a sense of value, a sense of worth, and a good self-esteem. So if we support somebody over a long term who's not contributing, so maybe they were in a helpless phase and we got them through that, but now it's time for them to contribute. And if they continue not to contribute, the love of this Aditya, the love of companionship, cuts them off because it knows how damaging it is to keep a person in a helpless state where they can't contribute. Because if they can't contribute, they can't feel any self-love. They won't be able to develop self-love. They won't be able to develop self-worth. We develop that by contributing, by being of use to others and to ourselves. And if they can't do that, they're just going to become more weak, more doubtful of themselves, more insecure of themselves, and basically greater and greater bloodsuckers because they'll feel they have no other option. So that's an aspect of this love, is that it won't support helplessness in a person. It'll support a helpless person, but it won't support the process of being helpless. Okay?